Our friend, the former governor, Tim Pawlenty, joining us in the Common Sense Club. Governor, how are you? Nice to have you back.
Scott, it's a delight to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Been thinking of you often. Has it been kind of nice to step off the treadmill a little bit and reflect on the months that you had your hat in the ring?
Well, it has, although it's been busy for other reasons. And right now I'm in Las Vegas for the Republican debate tonight. I've been doing a little campaigning with Governor Romney, and so it's been busy, but a different kind of busy. But yeah, it's obviously we gave it all we had with our campaign. We weren't able to continue primarily because we just ran out of money. And in order to be successful, you got to be able to continue to have a significant amount of money going forward, and we weren't able to do that, and so our campaign had to come to an end. But I'm delighted to be campaigning for Mitt.
Do you think it was a case of just what you brought to the table was not what the electorate were looking for this time around, or do you think, hey, if the campaign strategy had been different? I was just mentioning you talked about, for instance, sort of betting it all on the straw poll. That different strategy would have been a different outcome, or was it just not your year?
Well, hindsight's always 20/20, Scott. So if you look back with the benefit of knowing what you knew then, or knowing now what you knew then, or knowing then what you know now, then you'd make some different decisions. That's certainly the case with our campaign. And what we've seen is this up and down with candidates, the so-called flavor of the month. Somebody emerges for a few weeks, and then the nation and the Republican primary voters kind of get the measure of that person, and then they subside. And so in order to be a successful candidate, you have to be able to persist, not for a few weeks or a month, but you got to be able to see it through. And that's why I think Mitt is going to be such a formidable candidate. He is such a formidable candidate because he has not only the resources, but the consistency, the steadiness, the ability to go 18 months, to go head-to-head with the other candidates, go head-to-head with Obama. And part of it is this is a long road. Every day you've got the scrutiny, the press, the opportunities. But it's not something you can just do for a few months. You've got to be able to persist over 18 months, and at least financially, we weren't able to do that.
But when you're talking about the flavor of the month, whether it be the Perry surge, and he comes up, Michelle Bachmann obviously winning the straw poll, you have Herman Cain surging now. Isn't that essentially telling us that the GOP faithful are not buying what Mitt Romney's selling? I mean, because he seems to not be able to make this sale. Isn't that a problem for Romney now?
Well, it's still, I don't want to say it's early, but it's still a long ways to go. But two things. One is he's been the steady or near steady front runner. If he hasn't been first, he's been close to first in almost every poll nationally, and he's ahead in many of the early states. Two is it's hard to break away from the pack when the pack is still so large. So we have 8 or so candidates. Many of them were significant people. You have a Newt Gingrich, for example, the former Speaker of the House, and each person's going to get some chunk of support. So it's hard for one candidate to emerge when there's 8 others. And as the field winnows, either actually or practically, I think you'll see Mitt begin to pull away from the pack as we get towards the end of this year.
The surge right now is Herman Cain, and he's getting some pretty strong scrutiny, whether it's his 999 plan or some his comments getting more closely scrutinized. Seems to be weathering that storm pretty good and really in that top 3. I mean, do you think Herman Cain could win the GOP nomination?
Well, I like Herman, and as I know Mitt does as well. And Mitt's even said, take a good look at Herman. He's somebody who you should check out. And I've had a chance to interact with Herman. I like him. I know Mitt does too. But, he's going to have to go through what everybody else has to go through, which is it's not a matter of whether you can entertain the kind of the media or entertainment part of this for a month. It's a matter of do you have the chops to go, 18 months, cameras in your face, microphones in your face every day. You say one or two, things a little off, and, it goes worldwide in 60 seconds. And Herman may well be able to do that. We just don't know yet. And the other thing is his 999 plan, for example. While it's simple, there's a lot of people looking at parts of that going, boy, that's concerning. And, one part of that is a 9-cent federal sales tax. So if you're in a state that has an already high sales tax, let's say, you're in one of the higher states at 8%. If you add the 8% state sales tax to the 9% federal sales tax, you'd be paying 17 cents on every purchase. And there's a lot of people looking at that going, are you kidding me? So the plan, the 999 plan, has simplicity. It makes the tax code attractive in that way, but it raises some other concerns as well.
Governor Tim Pawlenty with us on the Common Sense Club. Mitt Romney seems to have the toughest problem making the sale to the conservative wing of the GOP party, the Tea Party crowd, if you will. Many suggesting that if he's the nominee, there just will be a lack of enthusiasm and energy. Is that a worry? Is that a concern?
No, again, over time, these things will reveal themselves. I think when you look at Mitt's record, first of all, he's got by far the most substantial, most prominent, most in-depth private sector experience in the field and the country. The number one issue right now for most Americans and most Republicans is get the economy moving, get the government out of the economy, grow jobs, get investment moving, give people more opportunity. And Mitt Romney has the deepest knowledge, private sector experience by far in the field. Nobody's even close in that regard in terms of his success and in terms of the scope and depth of it. Number two, if you look at his record in Massachusetts, it's a good record. It's a great record, but it's a tough state. So he governed as a conservative in a blue state, and so it's not perfect, and it's a lot easier to, just give speeches and say, here's what I might do, as opposed to going into a tough environment and actually trying to do it. But Mitt's record, right, if you look at it, he's got a significant tax-cutting record. He has a great record on getting the economy moving, getting jobs growing again. He's pro-life. He's pro-traditional marriage, and on down the list. So I think if people give him continued fair hearing, he's going to continue to do very well, even from a conservative perspective.
We only have about 30 seconds left, but will we see Tim Pawlenty's name on a ballot somewhere again in the future, either Minnesota or elsewhere?
Right now, volunteer for Mitt, but I'm moving into the private sector, Scott, and I don't know what my future holds for sure, so I'm just taking it a week at a time, but I'm focused on the private sector for now.
Well, God bless you, sir. Good to catch up with you. Our best to your lovely wife as well, and appreciate all the time on the campaign trail you spent with us and our listeners. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
Governor Tim Pawlenty, our guest on the Common Sense Club. See you tomorrow, folks.